Hi everyone, it's ZZ Ray here with ZZ Ray ASMR, and today I'm going to be talking about empaths and kind of like how to understand yourself if you are an empath, how to deal with that in the world. And I'm going to show you a few crystals that I use and do a little bit of tapping and visuals for you as well, like to include some ASMR. But I want to do a whole series for empaths just because I'm an empath and I feel like I'm very I just want to help empaths all the time, you know, just to be able to understand themselves, and I think it just brings healing a lot. So I'm gonna, before I get started, I'm going to light a candle. Oop, if I can get it to light. Okay. I love having candles lit. I don't know why. I just think they're calming. This one smells pretty good. It's like a Christmas candle, I think. So the first thing I want to talk about is some tools for you if you're empathic. Like, it can really help you when you feel kind of down or scattered or all over the place. And a lot of people have talked about grounding, and you hear that word quite often, but I really didn't understand what that meant. Like, I mean, I'd heard like different things that people do to ground themselves or whatever, but it was never like clear to me like what that meant. So I want to kind of touch on that just a tad, as well as some things like emotional things that empaths deal with, and kind of like give you guys some tips in this video. So one of the first things that makes me feel better almost instantly is sage. So sage is, it's kind of funny because sometimes I'll light it and my boyfriend's like, it kind of smells like weed. I'm like, oh my god. It makes me laugh. I'm like, sorry babe, that's just sage, you know, because it has a very different smell. I didn't like it when I first like started using sage, but now I like it. It's very calming. And sage, what sage does, it clears the air of any negative like energy or anything like that. And even you know how like salt lamps put a charge into the air? Well, that's pretty much what sage does, a very similar thing. So we're gonna light a little bit of sage. If I can do it. Okay, so after you get your sage lit, what I usually do, like for me when I'm feeling a little negative or emotional or just like drained or whatever from being around a lot of people, I just kind of like wave it around me and I smell it, you know, and just I put it like behind me and all around me. Just see, I can already feel like the difference in the air just by doing that. I think it stops smoking. So that's one way to help ground yourself, make you feel better. What grounding means, this is the way Archangel Uriel explained it to me, because I'm currently writing a book based on what he has to say about the new earth, and he talked about grounding and it made more sense to me than anything I've heard. So he was saying when you ground yourself, you're bringing yourself back to your natural state, which is the earth. Like, we're part of the earth, we're made of the earth. You know, when we pass away and go on to the next next realm, our body becomes the earth again. It becomes dust. So our body, our physical body, is in tune with the earth energy. So when you ground yourself, it's getting yourself back in tune with the earth. So that's in different ways. It can be smell, sight, like different tools like crystals and things like that can help you feel grounded. Visualizations, meditation. There's so many ways. So it's really what you prefer to ground yourself as an empath, like how you feel more calm, relaxed. Like for me, sage does a lot. Sage does a trick. I just recently bought this not that long ago. So this is selenite, and selenite is amazing for grounding. It's super calming and healing and powerful. I love it so much. I got this, and I like, again, it's all preference what you want to do, but I will like kind of put it above me and around me, and it reminds me of like sage. It feels the same to me. So you can get like a selenite wand. You could just get a little piece of selenite and maybe just kind of wave it around you, or meditate with it. That can be helpful. I think ASMR is also very grounding. I like it a lot. Okay, so that's another thing. There's a couple crystals too that I really like. That's also great for empaths or just whoever. It doesn't have to be empaths, but clear quartz is one of them. Clear quartz, just, I don't know, to me it just feels like it clears you. Like it's thing. Clear quartz. And if you have like a pointed one or like a wand one, you can just kind of wave it around you, and it has a little bit different feel than selenite or sage, but it's still very grounding. Helps you get back in tune, because crystals are part of the earth. So that's why, you know, and like sage, it's part of the earth. That's why the smell or being around a crystal will make you feel more grounded, because you're tuning into the earth energy. Just like this. This is hematite, I believe it's called. It's a very heavy crystal, but it's super good for grounding. Okay, and I'll do one more, and then I'll kind of touch on some of the empath things I've learned. So you guys probably know what this is, but this is an amethyst crystal. It's huge. It's really pretty though. I really love it. But this just sits by my desk, and just the energy of amethyst is healing. So, and there's more too. Like rose quartz is really good. I have one over here. Okay. Alright, so I want to talk to you a little bit about being empath and like what that means, and how to deal with it, how to, you know, work with it. First of all, I want to tell you this because I've talked to other sensitive people quite often, and a lot of times they think it's a curse. Like it feels hard and difficult and draining, and anxiety and depression like kind of tend to get like wrapped up with an empath because it's so challenging at times to handle all the emotion. And I told this one kid, being sensitive is a superpower, and I think when you look at it that way, you embrace it, and you embrace that part of you that's very sensitive, that's very in tune with others' energy, with the room's energy, the world energy, everything around you. You're bringing healing to it. So things impact you, people impact you, but you also impact them too as an empath. Like, and you have to learn to know how to like handle other people's emotions and what to do. So we're going to talk about that while we do this series on empath. I'm not going to get into a ton of it right now, but one of the very first things I've noticed that most empaths go through, and people in general, but empaths feel very alone. And I think it's because they have such deep emotion that it feels like I'm a weirdo, like nobody listens, nobody understands me. They think that, like, get it over it, you're too sensitive. People throw words at like empaths like that, and it really deeply hurts sensitive souls or empathic people because they reject that sensitive side. They reject the empathic part because they don't feel listened to or heard or understood. So that's like a sign sometimes of an empath, is you have very deep feeling emotions about like subjects or people or videos or things you watch or see or relationships. There's just like different, you know, like we all experience different levels of emotion, but empaths generally feel much deeper. Generally empaths, like you, if you're wondering, am I empathic? Like, I don't know. Empaths, not always, but generally they're in the corner of the room. Like if there's a party or anything like that, a big group of people, they're just not a fan. They're not a fan of big groups because they sense energy. So they will feel more intensely the energy of the room and then the energy of the individuals in the room. So they might not always understand, like, why do I feel so anxious? Why do I feel so overwhelmed? And they generally kind of flock to the corner. And if not, they're flocked to another empath. A lot of times when I go to a party, I find those people who are more sensitive. I just naturally am drawn to them because I like connection. I like one-on-one. And empaths generally love one-on-one, and they like connection. So another thing, this is kind of more like the hard parts about being empathic, but there's great, beautiful parts too. So sometimes empaths, like I said, fall into depression or anxiety, and this is because empaths are higher in emotion. They have to have a way to release their emotion. They have to have a way to express it and let it flow. And if they're told you're too sensitive or anything like that, they may shut down that flow of energy that needs to come out to help people, because it's a gift to share your creativity, share your emotional depth with the world, and this can be in multiple ways. But if you shut it down, it goes internal, and then it ends up, you know, creating problems like physical health problems, mental health problems. Not always, I'm not saying it's always this way, but this is just a pattern I recognize in myself and other empathic people that I talk to. Because when they're sad, they're super sad. When they're, you know, excited, they're really excited. Like that's just like the way they're wired, and generally they bring people into it. So like, for example, like if they're excited, they attract people who just like feed off their excitement. They know that an empath's giving out because they're just offering out, you know, their passion to the world. And if they're really sad and depressive, that also can affect people around them too, because empaths impact the room like very easily. They impact others very easily. So that is what, you know, that's our first little beginning intro video on empaths, and I hope you enjoyed it. And give me a like, give me a comment, thumbs up, or whatever. Subscribe if you want to this channel. I'm going to be talking a lot more about empaths coming up here, as well as The New Earth, which is the book I'm writing right now about the New Earth. It's not called The New Earth. So, and I plan on making a book about empaths too, because I keep having empaths just kind of show up in my world, and I keep feeling like led to help them and really encourage them. So if you're empathic and you feel alone, know that there are so many empaths out there that are willing to befriend you and to make a community and help you, even if it's an online community, whatever you need. Like I've been doing this on my Facebook page, Zizi's Angel Card Corner, and empaths, like we've been just like chatting, and it's so incredibly connecting and fun. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Have a super good day, and know that you're not alone.